Guys, what's up? It's Justin Marc. Right now I'm with
Nick Dora.
And in this 3-part video series, we're going to talk about approach anxiety, also known as social anxiety. So right now I'm just having a party in my penthouse, and there's a lot of people here. Imagine walking into an environment. There's people you don't know. There is people you've never met before. How do you become the man who is charismatic, social, and doesn't have that anxiety mentally holding him back and making him feel intimidated? So in this 3-part series, in part 1, 2, and 3, we're going to be talking about how to overcome approach anxiety. So when you walk into your environment, if you see a cute girl you want to talk to, you can go talk to her. If you see people you want to be friends with, you can talk to them, and you can overcome this approach anxiety or social anxiety.
Exactly. So no matter where you are, you'll learn the skills to essentially integrate yourself into any social circle in any environment and cultivate social clout points, if you will, so that, no matter where you are, you can, thrive in any social circle, any environment. You're versatile and you can effortlessly be the center of attention.
So sit back, make sure to watch part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this 3-part video series, and let's jump straight into it. So guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of the 3-part video series of approach anxiety and curing approach anxiety forever. So right now we're going to talk about the opener. So Nick, what kind of openers should you use to overcome approach anxiety?
So a good opener is something that builds intrigue, okay? It gets somebody to stop in their tracks. So when I was doing sales and working for like a credit card company, you wanted to say something right off the bat that was like captivating and that stopped the person, made them want to hear more. So I'll go up to somebody and I'll be like, excuse me, can I ask you a random question? And they'll obviously want to know, what is that question? It could be anything. What do they want to ask me? And people have a natural inclination to want to help strangers, okay? So it's kind of like a little manipulation tactic, if you will, but it's pretty effective. And, if you're not really feeling in the zone or social, this is a great starting point. It's just like a very easy, simple approach that's very effective.
So you can literally walk up and pretty much say anything. It actually doesn't matter what you say. Oftentimes, it's funny because I will meet gorgeous women, and what I actually said to hook them in, they don't remember. I don't remember usually. It could be anything that's intriguing. So one of my favorite is just talking about their fashion. Women love fashion. Talking about, hey, I like your shoes. Hey, I like your hair. Hey, I like your style. Things like that. Nick, I know you love saying, hey, excuse me, random question. And then you'll try to find something relatable. Like, hey, do you go to this university? Or do you know a good place to go clubbing around here? It literally doesn't even matter what you say. It matters the place is coming from. And then calibrating from there. So at the end of the day, your opener doesn't matter. But what you can do is you can use canned openers that are kind of gimmicky, but allow you to, effectively stop people in their tracks and socialize with them and interact with them.
Wheels of like social interaction is like, even to this day, I subconsciously implement like canned lines, so to speak. I say the same shit again and again, which I guess you could consider that canned lines, but it's not like set in stone. You don't have to stick to that. It's just a way to start off, especially if you're a newbie, is just write down different parts of the interaction and what you want to say, okay? If you have to use the same lines again and again, so be it. So I'll say something like, excuse me, can I ask you a random question? Are you single by any chance? It's kind of a pussy approach, but it's better than no approach, all right? So you can keep it simple. You can kind of know what you're going to say ahead of time and just repeat it and play the numbers game if you're starting from ground zero.
So further than that, you can also use kind of situational openers. You can kind of like, let's say you're at Starbucks, you're ordering a coffee, you strike up a conversation with the girl behind you, chatting about like, hey, I don't know what to get. What do you think? I'm thinking in the, like a mocha chai latte, or whatever the fuck it is, right? But it's situational. It's in the moment. It's relatable. And those are the kind of times where it almost feels like it just happened. Wow, I just met this hot guy at Starbucks. I just met this cool guy who just approached me on the beach. It's so random. It's so crazy. It feels like it was meant to happen. It just happened, right? So your opener is pretty important, but as long as you have a good follow through, it doesn't matter that much.
Another effective type of opener is an opener that also involves screening. So it's like a combo of the two. Screening is essentially discovering if a girl is like worthy of approaching and continuing the set and possibly may lead to something, okay? So screening is kind of seeing what she's all about, all right? So saying something like, excuse me, do you know of any good parties tonight? Or what are some good clubs that are open? If she tells you a response, she's obviously somebody that goes clubbing. This is useful information to have now, okay? Now you may build the conversation into clubbing related stuff. You may drop social proof bombs saying, oh yeah, my buddy's a club promoter, by the way. We have booths every Saturday, and it just gives you more avenues to open up the conversation. There's more directions you have now. You have more to work with, okay? So screening opener is another type of opener, but again, it's not necessarily what you say, but how you say it. It's your vibe behind it, the energy.
So ideally what your goal is when you're actually approaching these people is you want to find common ground. You want to find that kind of hook point, to hook the interaction, to find something in common. Maybe you both like Star Wars. Maybe you both just so happen to have traveled to some exotic country and you have a lot in common. Maybe you both speak Spanish. Hola, señoritas, mucho gusto. Todo bien. Muy bien. It doesn't even fucking matter, right? As long as you can find that relatability. Oh my God, you're from Mexico? I used to live in Mexico. En serio, qué bueno. Okay, like just finding that common ground allows you to hook the interaction. Okay, so if you want to hook the interaction, it's all about finding those commonalities, find those things that are interesting, but also it's kind of oftentimes about logistics. If you're single and she's single, you guys can feel that kind of energy and chemistry, and oftentimes it'll kind of hook you into each other, right?
But yeah, essentially, you don't have to worry about what topic you find common ground on. You can honestly exaggerate any topic and make it work. You know, maybe she has a Cocker Spaniel and you're like, oh my God, my Aunt Betty has a Cocker Spaniel. Oh my God, they're so cute. Like their noses and shit. Like I love their coats, blah, blah, blah. Common ground can be found on anything, you know? The point is the energy behind it, okay? So the enthusiasm in your voice, the tonality, your body language, and again, your masculine essence will all feed into this interaction. So don't worry about how you create the commonality. Just expand on anything you could possibly grasp on that's gonna work and stick and allow you to continue the interaction.
And then you also want to convey value. Because once the interaction's hooked, you don't want to be seen as some random scrub talking to the cute girl in Starbucks. You want to be the confident go-getter. You want to be the high-value man, the high-status guy. You don't want to just be some average Joe. You want to create ways to differentiate yourself from everyone else. So Nick, what are some ways you can do that?
So what I used to do, and what I still do, but like I started off watching like David D'Angelo's content, and he talked about cocky funny. So it's a concept of you throw out statements that essentially assert your value, but are also said in a funny, joking, playful, bantery way, okay? And cocky funny sets the frame that you are kind of like the alpha in the set. You're not submissive, so to speak, and you're not like a beta male. Like you know your value, you know that you bring enough to the table and that you're confident in yourself. So essentially you're implying that you're a high value guy through conversations that is both funny, but also socially acceptable and in a way cocky, dropping little information about yourself that demonstrates that you are an above average male, so to speak.
Another way you can do this is just demonstrating high value through humble bragging. So you can kind of like throw in like, oh yeah, like my penthouse. Oh yeah, like YouTube, social media content, TikTok. So I remember me and Nick were walking down the street and we met this girl who was friends with benefits with a very large YouTube guy who's also a multimillionaire who lives in our city, and we took her home and she hooked up with both of us. It was really interesting. And literally it's because we were standing outside of Nick's old strip club and we were like, yeah, we're strippers and I do TikTok, right? And it's like finding that common ground in a high value way. This girl was a 19-year-old model and she was really fucking attractive. And it was funny because literally I just mentioned, oh yeah, I used to live in LA and I do TikTok. So finding what the person's incentive is and figuring out what would they find high value and attractive and kind of just sprinkling in there to say, hey, this part of me is high value in your perception. Finding what they perceive to be high value and kind of mentioning a story or a part of your life that fits that narrative. And then automatically, boom, you're perceived as high value. Right? You're perceived as high value, but you can kind of do it in a very subtle way that doesn't come off like you're outright bragging.
And in a way, since we knew the influencer that she hooked up with, almost like a social chameleon, we kind of mimicked, I guess, little behaviors and events in our life that would relate to said influencer because we already know that, you know, she is into a guy who's like that. So maybe we'll mention our entrepreneurial side in a humble braggy kind of way, or that we create content as well or something, and really just emphasize our parts of us that are similar to this person that she's already shown that she is, you know, obviously interested in, given she's hooked up with him. So learning when to kind of be a social chameleon and mimic what you think she would like is very effective and very persuasive in, you know, gaming a girl.
But ideally you want to do this in a respectful, consensual way.
Absolutely.
So she feels safe and comfortable and respected throughout the entire interaction, and it's very win-win and very fun and playful.
You're never lying about who you are, you're just emphasizing different aspects of yourself that maybe she would prefer versus other aspects. Maybe she's a bookworm, you know, maybe you're a bookworm but you're also into fitness. Then you go more into the, you know, academic side of yourself rather than the physical, you know, beefed up alpha male type. So you have to know in which situation to bring out different parts of yourself, essentially.
Anyway, guys, that's part 2 of this 3-part video series. We will see you guys in part 3. If you haven't watched part 1 and part 3, make sure to do that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Justin Marc, international dating coach and relationship expert. Right now, I'm joined with Nick Dora.
Thank you guys for watching. Hope you liked the video.
And guys, you can go check out Nick Dora at Nick Dora Seduction. Just YouTube search Nick Dora or Nick Dora Seduction. And you can also follow us both on Instagram, DrunkJustin2 or
ITSNICK
Nick
DORA.
It's Nick Dora on Instagram. And if you guys like this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe. Click the bell notification so you're notified of new videos. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you watch part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this 3-part video series. Make sure to watch all 3 parts of this 3-part video series. It's gonna change your life. And if you learn how to overcome your approach anxiety and overcome these mental blockages that stop you from being your best self, your life will change forever.
Go out, take action, stop watching videos. Thanks for watching.